Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
Killer intro.
Hello. Hello. Thank you.
What's up, Boston? How
No,
are you?
I'm good. How are you, Chris? I mean, Kyle.
Kyle is fantastic, and I'm sure Chris is doing just fine also.
Yeah, I hope he's doing good. He's a very, very busy guy right now. He is working on the Boys versus Girls event, which you will be at too for Get Haunted.
Yes, that's coming up quick. It's crazy how quick it's coming. I'm excited. I don't know about you, Boston.
I'm very excited.
I hope so.
I'm very excited.
It's gonna be a really one of a kind thing, and you and Chris have really taken it to the next level. I'm excited for people to see what we got in store.
Thank you. It wouldn't be taken to the next level without him, which is why you have so graciously stepped in to be our honorary resident guest host here on Haunted Road Trip. For anyone who hasn't seen you here before, this is Kyle Mangus, right? I always feel like I'm going to say Magnus.
You got it close. It's Mangus, but that's close.
Mangus.
That's close.
Mangus. Anyways, it's a cool last name. Of Get Haunted, and a good friend of mine and Chris. Welcome everybody. Andy, the Obsoletist, Sandra, Heather. Thank you guys for being here.
Thanks for tuning in.
Yes, Kara.
What's up, Kara? What's up, Sandy?
Hi. Get Haunted in the house. So we've got a fun night, and we're looking forward to hearing everybody kind of discuss their own theories as well. And if you know what, I feel like I played it too soon. Hey, Rob.
What's up?
Thank you for stopping by. That's is it always Rob? I feel like I'm calling him out.
It is for now. It could be Sarah.
We're gonna just say hi, Rob or Sarah.
What are you gonna replay that intro?
Yeah, I'm gonna replay it because I'm really proud of it. Hold on, these keep falling out too.
It's a sick intro.
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
Love it. It's the perfect segue into what we got in store for tonight.
Thank you. So Kyle and I had a big talk the other night, and we were talking about kind of like expectation versus reality a little bit, fact versus fiction. But what the conversation kind of divulged into was just kind of paranormal in film in general, right?
Yeah, like the theories, the thoughts, and the way it's presented in different movies and different films, and even in the media too. So it was kind of a cool topic, and I think it's great.
We talked for a very long time about it, and we came up with a lot of movies, and so we decided to pick 3 of those, and hopefully we can make this into a series because there's no end to the amount of movies that relate to this subject, really.
Yeah, there are so many, and there's so many different, variations of different stories, and different, themes and whatnot. So yeah, it could be so awesome.
Yeah. This is very, very, so do I. So, and not even, I actually said to Kyle, like, we could do theories about, paranormal movies or books. And Kyle was like, yeah, just movies.
Yeah.
But you have a good point, because with a book, you don't know if everyone's seen it. With a movie, most people have probably seen it, especially the blockbusters.
That's true.
So the 3 that we have picked out tonight, do you want to tell the crowd what they are?
Yeah. So first off, we've got the others, right? Or am I going out of order, right? I'm going in order, right?
No,
the others.
The others.
And then we got Beetlejuice, because that one is just fun. And then we've got kind of one of my favorites is The Sixth Sense. So that's how we're rounding out with, and we're gonna talk about stuff and break down different theories and and topics on it. And you guys decide if you guys have any theories or chat or want to add in, shoot it over there. We'll definitely address that too.
Yep.
We want
absolutely.
you guys to definitely interact.
Absolutely. And later on, after we watch some of these clips, I'm happy to drop the link. If anyone wants to come up and talk about them with us, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
But we wanted to say the movies right off the bat. I put them in the thumbnail too, because if there is anyone here who has not watched them, Ghostbusters. Yeah,
that's a good one that none of us thought about.
Not on our list yet, but like I said, hopefully this will be a series and we can do 3 movies at a time. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. We wanted to make sure you knew what movies we were discussing tonight because hashtag spoiler alerts.
Yes. Be prepared. Sorry, people.
In fact, 2 of them, these 3 movies, we've got clips of the actual ending of those movies. So let's start this off with The Others. And before I play the clip that I want to talk about, we have a few clips for each of these movies. But The Others, of course, starring the lovely Nicole Kidman, was a really, I would say, and some people roll their eyes. I feel like there's some love-hate for this movie, yeah?
Yeah.
Like some people love it, some people hate it.
Yeah, because I think it was a play on like the traditional haunted house movie, and it kind of gave it a little twist. So I think that's what people are kind of either love it or hate it for that reason.
I loved it. Did you love it or hate it?
I loved it. I thought it was a new, like I said, like a new twist. It was something a little different when it came out, because you were expecting something and you got something totally different.
For me, I feel it is. I feel like it is super divisive. For me, I love it, and it was because of the twist, but also just because it was one of those twists that I just said, like, that makes so much more sense than everything I've been kind of taught about ghosts. What is a ghost in general? Something about it just made more sense to me, and I still take kind of that idea that I think I first saw in this movie with me to what I believe in now.
Yeah, and I think for me, what I like the most about it is, you kind of get set in your ways on certain things, especially like ghost stories, right? Because we hear the same ghost stories, haunted houses, and it was something totally different that made you think differently about that topic, which I think is really cool.
I agree 100%. So let's play that first clip. So this is further in, another thing.
Oh, there's children, more? There's more.
Yeah, well, I just have to say, the children in that movie suffered from an allergy to the sun.
Oh, that's right.
They didn't have a name for it, but remember they had to keep all the blinds drawn and everything?
That. Yeah.
And I have an allergy to the sun.
No way. Is that... No.
Yeah. I have solar urticaria.
Oh, my God. Well,
yeah, I haven't talked to you about that before. No. I'm a vampire. Essentially, I'm a vampire, yeah.
Well, okay.
Another reason why I'm a night owl. But let's play this first clip. So this clip is pretty far. I mean, this is basically the start of the end of the movie. Things are starting to make sense to the children. The mom starts freaking out. But let me play this first clip. It's about a minute long, and then we'll come back once I find it.
You got it.
This was Chris's wheelhouse, so
bear with us, boss.
Bear with us, guys. Here we go. The Others, clip 1.
Be strong now, children.
Nicholas, come here! Mrs. Mills, please don't tell Mummy we've run away. Don't speak to them! Why? They're dead! What? They're ghosts! Please come here! The ghosts? Why aren't they wearing sheets and clanking chains? Who said that? I don't care what I said! Get away from them! You're always teasing me. And telling lies. And I'm not teasing you, I'm telling the truth! Come here! Quick! Ah!
All right. Clip 1. Before we discuss, I just have to say thank you, the aristocrat, for noting that. I don't know if you know who that is, but that is our host, our missing in action host.
That's Chris.
That is Chris.
Well, we did give a huge spoiler alert. I mean,
We did.
Make it known.
Yeah. So spoiler alert. So like I said, that clip 1 was the beginning of the end. Hey, Melissa Jade. Hey, Wandering Sub. Thank you, everyone joining us, just coming in. So that first clip is movie number 1, The Others.
Yes.
What are some of your thoughts on just that little clip?
So one of my biggest thoughts is, kind of off topic, but those 18th century, the death photos that they used to do in the time period, that so creeps me out. I don't know why. I know it was like a normal concept back then, but to me, it's so strange.
It's really creepy, yeah. It's weird. So we're going to dive in deeper to this whole movie with everybody after we show the other 2 clips. But just little things to note on this clip for me was kind of just the general idea of what is ghost, right?
Yes.
What is spirit? And that little boy says it as clear as day. Well, you said ghosts wore cloaks and chains. And I don't know why I gave that little, was that a good little like British kid accent?
It was good. I almost believed.
You say ghosts wear cloaks and chains.
There you go.
You're a liar. So thank you. I've been told I'm talented at little British children accent. Boston. Oh, hey, Moody. Hi, Heather. Welcome, guys. So yeah, I thought that was interesting because kind of time period wise, you think like what in that time period in the movie, and I don't know if that's something that the director or the writer were thinking of, but what is the most famous ghost story that you have, right? A Christmas Carol.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Probably goes right back into the late 1800s.
Right.
You know, a ghost. Ooh, you know, walking around an old creepy mansion or a castle, going. Ooh,
Yeah.
That was their idea of a ghost. So yeah. I mean, and like Sandra said, that was a shocking part of the movie. I mean,
because the whole time they're just.
It looks like
the staff,
little boy,
right?
they're real people. Like he has no other concept that they could be anything other than real people, and just starting to put those pieces together. And you know that kind of goes against, you know, like you said, at that time period, what the norm of society or what was in literature at the time or whatever the media of what a ghost would be.
Absolutely. And it still holds true to this day. I think that stigma's kind of changing, but it still holds true. Hey, Nasty. Thank you for joining us. All right, so I'm going to play clip number 2. Again, I have 2 more clips of this movie. Once we're done with those other 2 clips, we're going to deep dive into everybody's theories. I will drop a link if there are people that do want to come up and join us. You're more than welcome. But we've got a total of 3 movies that we're going to be discussing tonight. So just one moment. This is clip number 2.
Trying to make you understand.
Understand what?
About the house. About the new situation.
What situation?
We must all learn to live together. The living and the dead.
If you're dead, leave us in peace. Leave us in peace! In here. Get inside.
And suppose we do leave you. Do you think they will?
Who?
The intruders.
There are no intruders.
They took the curtains down. Oh, yes, I assure you it was them. And now they're in there with you and the children.
Waiting for you.
No!
Yes. And believe me, sooner or later, they'll find you.
I love it.
That one, that clip I really like that one because it turns the table on the hauntings, right? So every haunted thing movie, television that we see now is people move into a house, start experiencing stuff, and it's almost like they're trapped in the house with the spirits or whatever. And this completely 180s the thought of like, maybe it's the people that are really haunting the dead.
Right.
So that is
maybe
so cool.
Maybe they are terrified of us. Maybe
Exactly.
we're the intruders. I love that line so much.
And it kind of goes with like being a paranormal investigator and being in a haunted location all the time. Sometimes I wonder, like, do we know that we're each there, or like, are we? Who's the dead person? Like, sometimes we're talking to people through EVPs or whatnot, and it's almost like they're confused on like what's happening, almost as confused as we are, trying to figure it out. So that can tie perfectly into paranormal investigating. Like,
100%.
It's just a cool concept. I just love that movie for that fact. It just flips the whole thing and makes you look at a different perspective, which I think is important too when you're a paranormal investigator, looking at different perspectives, because if you get stuck in your ways, you'll never learn anything.
Well, and I think it helps too with just the level of respect as, you know, being a paranormal investigator, like how you, when you enter a location, to enter it with respect, to kind of acknowledge that it's a shared space.
Yes. That's a good point, Austin. It is a shared space almost.
That's how I feel when I walk into, and what's so weird is I haven't even thought of this movie until the other night when we started talking about it. And so I haven't thought about this movie or watched this movie or thought about it since I've, you know, gotten into paranormal investigation and kind of entered this world. So yeah, this, looking back at it, this movie kind of, it makes sense, because when I first started investigating, I always kind of would walk in and just talk to myself in my head a little bit and just acknowledge, like, thanks for letting me in. I'm not here to intrude. You know, I wouldn't necessarily say it out loud because I didn't want to look like a weirdo in front of all these other people, but it's stuff that I started saying out loud the more comfortable I got.
Yeah, and I mean, that's a perfect analogy, and that kind of almost sums up the entire movie, if you will, and ties right into paranormal investigating, right? Like, you go in, you talk, it's mutual respect. You're both may be scared of each other, and if you break that stigmata with you and the potential spirits or whatever, it could lead to a very what's the word?
Harmonious.
Yes, harmonious relationship. I mean, I've noticed it being at White Hill Mansion a lot. Like, you kind of can get used to each other. Like, you get comfortable around them, and I think they get comfortable around you. So it's a cool concept. I really like it.
Hi, Holly. Drive safe.
Yes, please drive safe.
So I am going to play, I mean, speaking of paranormal investigating, that brings us to our final clip. And this scene is just the boiling point. And my favorite scene of the entire movie. I do make some little notes on the clip, just things for us to remember and chat to remember to, like, circle back to once we start breaking this movie down. But let's, without further ado, play it.
Play.
Me, what happened?
Don't tell her. Don't tell her.
Don't tell her.
If I tell her, they'll leave us in peace. Mummy!
Mummy.
Why are you crying, children? What happened in this room? What did your mother do to you?
Something about a pillow.
Is that how she killed you? With a pillow?
She didn't kill us.
Children, if you're dead, why do you remain in this house?
We're not dead.
Why do you remain in this
We're
house?
not dead. We're not dead. We're not dead. We're not dead. We're not
Why do you remain in this house?
We're not dead.
We are not dead. We are not
We're
dead.
not dead. We're not dead. We're not dead. We're not dead. We're not dead.
just a bit dizzy, that's all. What happened?
They made contact.
All three?
Apparently, yes. The mother and the two children. Quite interesting, don't you think?
Wow, that was a lot to break down. I hope you took notes.
I'll try to remember. That's why I put notes on the screen, because I was like, I'm not going to remember this. But yeah, I think just the whole, first of all, the whole, what those people were doing there.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to remember still at that point at the beginning of the clip, Nicole Kidman's character and the two children thought that those people sitting around the table, that they were the ghosts.
Yes.
Yeah, I need to watch, I also need to watch this again in its entirety. I just watched some clips from the ending because that's what was so impactful for me. Again, sorry, major spoiler alerts on this entire live for anyone just not joining us.
Huge spoiler alert.
Yeah.
But what I liked,
long enough.
What I liked, and what I didn't even think about this when I watched it, because I've seen it a couple times, but I didn't think about it till I watched this clip. Like why everything came to a culmination in that thing. And to me, I was like, I wonder if it's because the intruders or the people that were living and the dead all came together in one spot. The combined energy. I wonder if that had something to do with them opening up. And I think too, throughout the movie, they're kind of slowly learning, and that's like that acceptance stage. And is that something that maybe will bring spirits? Like, I don't know, this could be a theory, right? Like when spirits finally understand, like, oh my God, I'm dead and I'm on the other side or wherever we're at. Is that when they're like, okay, well, maybe now I should try to see if I can communicate, or, the acceptance of when they accept it, is that when, they're like, okay, well, now I could maybe focus on trying to, communicate or whatnot. I don't know. I mean, it's a cool theory to think about.
I agree with that thought theory. Just more the idea, from what I've gotten on investigations, and you can, I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this. I'm sure our Get Haunted people and, people that have been to paranormal investigations will probably all agree that there's not one type of spirit that comes through. Sometimes it feels very much as if you're talking to somebody who is completely unaware, either that they are dead or that you are alive, or vice versa, or maybe they're not even, I mean, I still have my own theories on that. I think there's some communication that happens with people just in different dimension, or are alive but in their time.
Yeah, almost like a time slip kind of thing happening. Yeah.
But then you have some that are very, and a lot of times the word intelligent spirit comes through, and these are spirit that can kind of have this back and forth conversation with you, and you wonder if maybe, like you said, those are the ones that have kind of had that realization and accepted it.
Yeah. And like in
that's why.
my experience, to kind of piggyback off you, that makes sense. Like, I think there's, and this is my personal theory, I think there's almost like different levels, right? So you have some spirits, like you said, they're intelligent. I think they're completely aware of where they are and I guess what they are and can communicate. And then you got other spirits who can't really do that as well and may not even understand what's happening. And that's why sometimes, like if you're doing an EVP session or you get some activity on a paranormal investigation, it's stuff that doesn't make any sense, and it's very confusing. So I think could be different levels to all this. And maybe that's something that, when you pass, or ghosts or spirits, over time, they can almost learn. And that's why some maybe be more intelligent and can talk more and interact more, and others really can't yet because they're new, or they're still learning and they don't understand how it works. I don't know. But that's a cool topic.
There's kind of a backwards theory going on here too, because we're going to talk about this more with the other two movies, but the idea of children, kind of the veil being thinner, and children being able to more easily interact, see, hear spirit. That's just a wide known theory, and you'll see that play out in these two movies. What's really interesting about this one is that the children in the movie, you think that's what's going on the whole time you're watching it, right? Because the children can see the others and the mother can't. But the others, what the children are seeing, are these living people. You find out at the end. So it makes me think about that too. Is that why? Because I've noticed this a lot, and you've said this before yourself. Is that why children's spirit often comes through?
Yeah, that's something to think about too. That I never really thought about. Okay, like if it's like a general concept, and it's pretty known that if children can see or hear spirits more than adults, so what happens with a child spirit? Does that continue on the other side?
Right. Is the veil just thinner on both sides for children's spirit, or exactly?
Yeah. And it go vice versa. If they're a child spirit, they can communicate with and see the living more than the dead. I mean, that would make sense.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought about when I was watching these clips. Imaginary friends.
Yep.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Imaginary friends, 100% ghosts.
And that goes right back into the movie. If a kid has, or a child has, an imaginary friend that's really a ghost or a spirit, they don't know. They probably don't know, and then probably the other spirit doesn't know either. They're just coexisting and happily playing and being kids, and just, that plays right into this movie too.
Exactly. Oh, it's such a good movie. And that last scene, I made a few notes. One of them was automatic writing.
Yep.
Obviously, that's a practice that has been around. There was so many early Victorian era paranormal investigation things being used in that scene that people still use to this day. One of them, of course, the automatic writing. Yes, the spiritualism. Thank you. I was looking for that word. Because that movement was. Yep. So they had the seance. They had, of course, the psychic medium. Was the old woman. You see her. I like to use the term "go under." The Estes method for me is kind of. I don't know if you feel this way too, but for me, when I'm doing the Estes method, I do kind of feel myself go under. When I come back up and I'm done, taking the headphones off and I'm done listening to the spirit box, I have some trouble with memory. I have trouble thinking and remembering everything that I heard or said. Whereas when I'm under, it's just kind of flowing out.
Yeah, with my experience through Estes method, me personally, I don't feel like I go under, like you say, or I don't want to say get into a trance, but I don't get into the zone as well as other people. Like I've seen other people go under, and like you said, they just start in their own little zone as almost like a trance. But I've also noticed by doing paranormal investigations with the Estes method that sometimes there's people who aren't under, who are asking the questions, that get more results than other people. And that always made me curious, because are certain people able to communicate with the other side easier? Do some spirits on the other side, or some ghosts, do they can't hear certain people but can hear others?
Right.
Or can't see other people and see, they can also see these people over here but not these people? And that's what I've experienced with Estes. So it's really interesting, and it kind of plays into the Victorian spiritualism movement a little bit, but it's more of the modern version.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking about watching that scene. I was like, well, we still have psychic mediums, and we still, but I was like, how can I relate to this woman being like, what happened? She didn't remember anything. I also found it interesting that they don't show him in that scene, but throughout the movie, the daughter especially is communicating the whole time with the little boy. So I assumed the little boy was part of the living. And then this old lady, this psychic medium, is the other one they see. They don't see any of the other living until this very end scene at the seance. So again, children, people who are maybe just tapped into their abilities a little deeper. Does spirit prefer, or is it easier to communicate with each other in that way? The automatic writing is really cool. Has anyone put a 1 in the chat if you guys have heard of automatic writing and what it is? I stumbled across it on accident, weirdly enough.
Yeah, we actually we did it at our one event at the
Hoover
Hoover House.
House.
Yeah,
I
and
heard.
it was pretty. And I've never, for me personally, I've never done any automatic writing. And when I tried it, and I just unfocused my brain, I guess you could say,
Mhm.
just sat there. The pen actually started moving, and I remember going, I'm not moving my hand like that. I know this isn't me. I think it's one of them things that you kind of have to practice.
Yeah.
But that night we were getting a lot of results, and we actually later on in the investigation used automatic writing, but in a different way. We actually put noise canceling headphones on people and blindfolded them, and just sat them with a pen and paper, and we asked questions, kind of like the Estes method, but
Mhm.
without any kind of
But with the writing instead.
and they were actually writing down answers to stuff that we were asking in another room. It was pretty incredible. So there is
I love
something
that.
to like using your senses and just zoning in and focusing.
Mhm.
And I think we've lost a little bit of that since, like when this movie took place with the spiritualism movement. I mean,
Right.
now we have so many outside, environmental stuff. We got cell phones. There's always something going on. Back then, they didn't have a lot of that stuff. And
They
when
had
you do
very few
sunglasses,
tools. Yeah.
you were focused in like meditation and all that. So it's kind of cool how we kind of seemed like we got away from that a little bit with technology and just how we kind of evolved. But now we're slowly starting to go back to that. And it's really cool because it could open up huge doors in the paranormal field.
Yep. I agree. I think more people should do it more often. We have a ton of ones in chat, so a lot of people have heard about automatic writing.
That's awesome.
Kyle basically explained what it is right there. Like I said, I stumbled into it on accident the first time I ever did it. We had gotten a Ouija board from Goodwill.
Oh, well, that's perfect.
No, it was a bad choice. It was a bad
That
choice.
is like how one of these movies starts that we're talking
No,
about.
it's exactly it. This was a bad choice. It was my one kind of big paranormal experience before this past year when I finally, and I had shut off the paranormal world since that night, and I'm not going to delve into all the details, but long story short is I felt this weird sense. I never heard of automatic writing. I'd never seen it in a movie. This was before I'd seen the others. I don't even know if the others had come out by then. But anyways, I picked up a pen and said, I have this idea, guys. Like, if this, what's it called? Planchette.
Spell it. Come on.
Is being moved. Planchette. No, we're not going to spell that. I'm not going to spell that. I don't know how to spell that. But if that moves on its own, why can't this pen move on its own? And so I kind of got myself in the zone and, like you said, just kind of meditated. And then I felt my hand moving. And at first we couldn't make out anything but scribbles. And then eventually there was a word. And then there was a bunch more scribbles, but we saw a face. And then, so long story short, that's where I fell into it. And I like to use it a lot. I use it a lot when I meditate, not necessarily ghost hunting. But I thought it was cool to see this movie kind of show exactly how that works. She's writing, somebody else is interpreting. They first get a word, pillow. Right?
Yep.
So first they get one word. Then they hear the boy saying, Mommy. Hi, Wolfie. Welcome. Good to see you. Then they hear the boy say, Mommy. And then she says, why are you crying, children? And then we get a full-on sentence later on. So as their emotion and their energy is picking up, emotion and energy of the spirits,
yes,
things are coming through more clearly to the seance group. So then we get a full-on sentence, we are not dead. We are not dead. The anger's picking up. You see poltergeist activity as you see objects being, the paper being thrown in the air and ripped, and table tipping. Did you catch that? I didn't even think of table tipping it, but that's another spiritualism technique that people still use to this day. I've never done it personally. Have
Me
you done
either.
table tipping?
I know the Hoover House sometimes does it, but I've never actually witnessed it. And that's one of the things that I would have to experience it and see it myself to actually, because I think you can't even kind of understand how that would work unless you're actually doing it. But the whole concept is, it's kind of like a Ouija board, but you're using the table as the Ouija board, and you're asking the spirits to move or bump the table.
Right. Which, and I'll be fair, they weren't doing that in the scene, but I felt like it was a nod
Yeah,
a
it
nod
was.
to
It
right?
definitely
To see
was.
the table shaking and all of that was a nod to what table tipping is essentially, and it was cool to see Nicole Kidman actually moving it, and then the shot back to nobody there. Well, nobody there. So yeah, that movie, I think, my favorite thing about this world that I've fallen into is that there are so many people with so many different opinions and so many different theories. And I'm sure there are many people who, my way's the right way and there's no other way and this is the truth. But the people that I've come across, the people like you, my friends that get haunted, there are so many people I have met that are so open-minded and love to share theories with each other. And I think that that is the only way that paranormal investigation is going to move forward and actually make progress, is if everyone is willing to hear each other's ideas and each other's beliefs and kind of go from there. Because the truth is, none of us have the answer.
No.
Nobody has the answer, but that movie is very close to some of the beliefs that kind of make sense to me.
Yeah, and it's movies and ideas like that that get people thinking to do different experiments, try different techniques, and try different things to move the paranormal field forward. I mean, the whole spiritualist movement basically spawned paranormal investigating, if you can think of it like that. I mean, before that, people really weren't, investigating, and that paranormal investigators now are like modern day spiritualists in a way. So.
Absolutely. There are two interesting comments here. The first one from Conster Photo. Thank you for joining. Says, I think Hoover House will be holding a table tipping event. That's cool. Absolutely check that out. I don't have the site here, but the Hoover House, I don't have the website link to drop, but the Hoover House is an amazing place. I was very sad I could not make it to the Get Haunted event, but they had a special event, special night there called Making Sense of Your Senses, where they really delved in. They left the equipment.
Keep talking. I'm getting the website.
You're getting it? Okay, awesome. They left the equipment at home, and people investigated using some of these older techniques, some newer techniques, but techniques that have been developed to kind of just make sense of your senses and utilize your own personal being as the tool, I guess, as the equipment. And I've had some awesome talks with Rob and Sarah since that night, and I've heard just some really amazing, cool things that have happened.
Do you see it there?
Queen, I sent it to
you. I couldn't
me.
put it in the chat.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Queen Mary is open again. Yeah, that's what we heard.
Copy. That's my friend who I told you about.
That's awesome. I would love to investigate that. I know Rob has investigated it and had some crazy experiences. To me, I think that would be so cool to investigate on a ship. And Get Haunted is investigating.
I'm sorry. I am divining Rod, because I just said you are the tool, we are the tools. So I am divining Rod. Okay. That's a good one to choose. Sorry to interrupt you, Kyle.
No, I was just talking about the Queen Mary and how awesome it would be to investigate that. And for me, investigating a ship would be awesome. And I know in July 4th, July 4th weekend, Get Haunted is going to be investigating the USS North Carolina down in North Carolina with Dave Schrader. So
yes.
That's an awesome event. You guys can check that out.
Check out. I should have all these links ready. This is what I need Christopher.
Hold on,
to just be here dropping links. Kyle's gonna show you up, Chris, and drop so many links.
I'm on it.
Well, you're always on it in chat. You're always the one finding those links and dropping them.
It's a whole different thing.
I know it's different when you're up here.
Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us on this.
Yeah. Kyle is an amazing host. I'm so happy to have him. Thank you. And
the show ain't over yet, so don't thank me yet.
Do the copy. I know, we got to get on to the next movie, man.
Right.
All right, so the next movie. I could honestly talk about the others forever. But yes, guys, check out the link that we just dropped for all the upcoming Get Haunted events all over the country, including the one that Kyle just mentioned. So the next movie, we had to do something a little tongue-in-cheek, and it's very simple. We only have 2 short clips, so I'm just going to play them back to back. but it's of course Beetlejuice. So again, spoiler alert.
Yes.
If
Spoiler
you
alert.
guys haven't seen Beetlejuice yet, I don't know what to tell you. I'm sorry. I don't even feel
Chris,
bad
close
about
your
spoiling
ears
this one.
if you're watching.
All right, here it comes. All right.
Handbook for the recently deceased press.
You know what? I don't think we survived the crash. I hate this. Just, can you give me the basics?
Well, this book isn't arranged that way. What do you want to know?
Well, why did you disappear when you stepped off the porch? Are we halfway to heaven? Are we halfway to hell? And how long is this going to last?
I don't see anything about heaven or hell. This book reads like stereo instructions. Listen to this. Geographical and temporal perimeters. Functional perimeters vary from manifestation to manifestation. Oh, this is going to take some time, honey.
God, I love Beetlejuice.
Me too. Let's play the second clip. Well, actually, no. Let's talk about this one real quick because that was a real short clip.
Yeah, this one, I like this one because it goes, of the roles of the dead. That's the theme of this, little section of the movie. And it makes me think because there's so many different theories and a lot of people who are stuck in certain ways of thinking about like, okay, well, ghosts can't do this and they can do this. Can they go through walls? They can't go through walls. If you haunt a building, you're only in the building. You can't go anywhere else.
Right, and does that mean you died? You have to die in that building?
Yeah, like just because you die somewhere, where do you haunt? Do you haunt where you exactly die, or where you like to be, or do you choose? Like, there's so many different theories out there about the rules, and I don't think it really works like that. I think everything is a little different. Like, there's times, especially because I'm at Whitehall all the time, where I feel like I call them resident spirits, the ones that kind of hang around all the time, but I don't think they're stuck there.
Right.
I don't think they can be like, oh, we can't leave. We don't know where they're at. I think they want to be there for whatever reason. And then there's sometimes when we're investigating that, it seems like we're talking to someone else who has no concept of Whitehill or where they're at, or has nothing to do with the location or the area at all. And sometimes it'll almost be like somebody's relatives coming in and talking, and you're like, okay, well, where's the rule book on that? Because this is totally different. So that's what I liked about that clip.
Yeah, I did too. I think it was funny because it was kind of a tongue-in-cheek on Hollywood in general. There are movies like the others which obviously give you a totally different perspective. Beetlejuice, totally different perspective of what ghost is, but it kind of pokes fun at all these rules that we as living human people have kind of over the years placed on, like, I don't know, paranormal in general.
Exactly. And I think maybe, this is, another personal theory of mine, maybe a lot of that has came from people trying to understand and not be so afraid of the paranormal. So they come up with these rules, like, oh, that's why this house is haunted because of this. And that's where the stories start, to almost give a little bit of comfort to them. Like, oh no, don't worry. The spirits can't leave that house. They have
right. They don't follow you.
Kind of trying to come up with something to rationalize it or understand it. I wonder if that's where some of this thought process
or even
come from.
Sorry to interrupt. Or even just the idea of, because in this movie, Beetlejuice is essentially a demon, whereas the other two are just ghosts who have passed on. Beetlejuice needs to be conjured to get anywhere. There's a lot of we won't go into that there, but there's a lot of things in this movie that just kind of, again, they poke fun, but also make you question, like, what are the rules? Are there rules in their world? Are they people on another side of a veil who can't do X, Y, or Z unless they are summoned, or so let me play our last Beetlejuice clip real quick, and then we will finish our Beetlejuice.
All right, I'll do it.
You did this? You carved all these little houses and things?
Mm-hmm.
And this used to be your house. Why do you want to scare everybody?
Well, we wanted to frighten you so you would move out.
You don't know that Dietz is very well. My father bought this place. He never walks away from equity. Why don't you leave?
We can't. We haven't left the house since the funeral.
Funeral. God, you guys really are dead. This is amazing. I better go.
Wait, I don't think it's a very good idea to tell your parents that we're up here.
Not unless you think it'll frighten them away. You tell them that we are horrible, desperate, ghoulish creatures who will stop at nothing to get our house back.
What if this is a dream? Can you guys do any tricks to prove I'm not dreaming? Well, if you are a real ghost, you guys better get another routine because those sheets, they don't work.
All right, I'm going to do it because everyone I know they want me to do it. Beetlejuice,
Okay.
Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice. My dog moved. That's about it. So,
It's like, did it work?
no, I turned around. I saw something move. I'm like, oh my god,
Like, wait a second.
that worked. I'm not ready for that.
Beetlejuice.
This movie, I love, like you said, because it's tongue in cheek, but it still makes you think. Like, and then we touched upon this a little bit, but the idea that ghosts are trapped because they have unfinished business and they're not allowed to leave. Like, how does that work? Like, who oversees that? Is there the ghost police that's like, nope, you
Well,
can't.
in the movie there is.
No,
In the
you
movie
can't.
there's the whole ghost government and the ghost red tape and
Can't leave this house. Like, there's something locking you there. And like, I mean, I don't know at all, but like the experiences I have, I mean, I think no one's trapped. I don't think personally, but is it possible? Maybe like we said before, if it's someone is recently passed or recently in a ghost or spirit form, they may not understand how it works or their new world, and that may be why they're stuck. They're not really stuck. They just don't know how to move on or move to wherever they need to be or where they want to be.
Oh.
What happened?
I think we got copyright struck. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
No strike, it'll pause until they stop playing.
Uh-oh, what happened?
So, that's so silly. That's so silly.
Oh, we're back, apparently.
Are we back? Okay. So, apparently those clips were not modified enough. I don't know. I watched all these things about
Okay, we're back.
clips. We're back. Yeah, sorry guys. Well, now this stinks because I don't think we should continue to play clips. All we have left are the Sixth Sense, though.
Well, we can talk about the Sixth Sense.
Yeah, we can just talk about all of them. But with the clips, I guess it's supposed to be as long as you've transformed them in some way and used them for educational purposes, et cetera, et cetera.
Gotcha.
You're not supposed to be struck, but maybe it's music or something in one of those clips. Sorry, guys. Thank you for staying.
Yes.
Thank you so much for everyone here. Yeah, Sixth Sense is one of my favorite too. Thank you so much for everybody who has come by tonight. We really, really appreciate it. Please take the time to give a thumbs up and subscribe if you are not subscribed for more of our content. Yeah, Melissa has a huge channel of her own. It's a great true crime channel, which I will send your way. Sixth Sense is my favorite. Play it, but just long. And
The Sixth Sense was another one of the movies like the others when it came out. It took a concept that everyone was familiar with, but put a spin on it that you didn't really see it coming. And I think that was one of the movies that had such a spin that no one has seen that kind of movie in a long time, so no one was expecting. So, spoiler alert.
There still isn't, in my opinion, there still isn't anything quite as...
No, there really isn't.
Yeah.
There really isn't. I mean, it was a cool concept. So, definitely talk about The Sixth Sense.
It's one of my favorites, and it's pretty real life-ish. Yeah. See, Melissa's saying play. I get what Melissa's saying. She's saying just like pause it, but unfortunately, the way I have these uploaded, you can't pause it. I'm gonna play.
You gonna go for it?
Don't yell at me, Chris.
All right, bear with us, everyone.
I'm gonna play just because we have to hear the line, right? We just have to hear it.
All right, we're gonna roll the dice.
We're gonna roll the dice. We're gonna roll the dice. We can't get in any trouble for this because again, they're transformative, right?
I want to tell you my secret now. I see dead people.
Okay, that's it.
I think we're back.
Are we okay? Did we disappear? Did we disappear?
Please say something in the comments.
I see dead people. Yeah, someone please say something.
Besides, I see dead people, please.
I had to play it because, again, this is an educational and informative topic about a really well done movie, The Sixth Sense, and kind of how those theories play into the other two movies, I think is pretty interesting. Again, the thank you, Conster. It doesn't happen that quickly. Yeah. I don't know, Melissa. I'm new to this. I'm sorry.
We're rolling here. We're getting.
And I can't get perma fired. I can't lose Chris and I's channel on the first night of me being in charge. But the idea that you don't know you're dead, right?
Exactly. That goes along with the others. Goes along with Beetlejuice. It goes into this one. That's a common theme. Like, how does it work when we pass? Like,
I'm trying to think of the line he says because I don't want to have to play it, but he says, this is the line, they see what they want to see.
Oh.
And I love that. And then it goes at the end and it shows Bruce Willis when Bruce Willis has his realization, because throughout the whole movie, of course, Bruce Willis is interacting with his wife, right? And is doing day-to-day M. Night Shyamalan ding dong.
Well done. Well done.
Yeah, no, M. Night, some people hate M. Night, some love him. I'm more on the love spectrum of M. Night personally. But yeah, he's interacting as just a living, breathing human, or so he thinks throughout the movie. The doorknob, I gotta fix this doorknob, it's not opening. Well, then he hears back in his head, they see what they want to see. The little boy tells him, right? And so suddenly the picture expands, and the reason he can never open that doorknob is because there's a whole ass desk and books in front of that door that he just never saw was there.
Yeah.
That the wife had clearly put there after he passed on.
Yeah, and do you think, I don't know, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but did the wife realize stuff was like happening in the house, or she didn't even acknowledge it? I don't remember.
No, I don't think she ever really acknowledged it. That last scene, there's a part that I put where he kind of, yeah, I think so too. I think it's possibly true. I've been fired like 12 times, so, I don't think so, but at that scene, there was and I wish I could play it, but I'm going to describe the scene. So basically has this realization, that he, at the very beginning of the movie, was shot and actually killed. And this whole time he thought his wife was just kind of giving him the cold shoulder and they were having marital problems, but it was that he's not there.
Spoiler alert, everyone. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, the obsolete is, I already got a message. Don't worry about it. Saying, I give you one show, Boston. Sorry. Yeah, spoiler alert. So the whole time the wife is, anyways, it's at the very end. He has the realization that he's dead, and you see his wife breathing and she kind of shivers because she's sleeping, and her breath gets cold and foggy, just like the little boys did multiple times throughout that movie. So that, topic one, temperature changes.
Yeah, it
You
happens.
and I both know that happens. People in the chat who have had experiences know that that happens. For me, it's not just cold though. I also get warm.
Yeah.
I get both.
It's a lot of times, like, I think people get stuck on cold because most of the time it's easier to identify a cold spot. But
Right.
there's a lot of environmental changes that happen. Like you said, you can feel hot sometimes when the hair stands up on your arm, like the static charge and whatnot. So yeah, the environmental changes is a thing, and that's cool.
Yeah, so that's in that clip. Then he also is communicating with her while she's sleeping, which I thought was very interesting because I've always had this theory, and I find out now that I'm in this paranormal world that a lot of other people share this theory, that you communicate with the dead in your sleep. Essentially, that when you're sleeping, you're communicating with either the dead or with people on different dimensions, people again at different times who may be sleeping as well, and that they're not just figments of your imagination. They're people. They're either people your soul has known before, or they're people that surround you all the time, who could be ghost, who could be spirit that you just don't see and hear, but when you're sleeping you can. So I thought that was kind of cool. People assume cold because they're dead. Yeah. So you get hot too, Donna? I have both, and it just kind of depends. For me, I get hot, like my whole body will get hot. When it's a cold spot, it's usually like part of my body feels like my left side feels cold, or my right side feels cold, or my arm or my leg.
Yeah, definitely cold spots seem to be like that. It's kind of isolated to a smaller area.
Yeah.
Say.
But yeah, so the being able to communicate through dreams, the tangible temperature fluctuations or environment fluctuations, and then the finished business. So of course at the end he goes, "I think I can go now."
Yeah, and I think
that's his goodbye to her.
Yeah, and I love that aspect of it because that's how my theory is I don't think anyone's stuck here, and they're not able to move on unless somebody tells them to. I think it's a conscious choice, because if you're living in your conscious sentient being or whatever you want to call it when you're alive, why does that go away when you're dead? I don't think it does. I mean, I think you could be confused and may not understand what's happening, but it's not like, okay, I can't leave till I get this done. I think it's a conscious choice. I really do think so. And I liked how they presented it like that. And then you got, of course, the children interacting with spirits easier than others,
So 3 movies.
Yeah. And it kind of, I like it because it kind of goes back to like me being a caretaker of White Hill and seeing so many different paranormal teams and groups of people come through. And a lot of the times there'll be 1 or 2 people in the groups, or sometimes more, that seem to have more experiences than the other people in the group. Like, and I'm wondering that, and I'm like, wow, I wonder why that is. Is it kind of like certain people, like the little kid in The Sixth Sense, who is more prone? Can the spirits sense him or see him over other people, or they can't see? Maybe they can't see anyone else, and they can just sense that he's there, and that's why they're drawn to him. Is that the same kind of thing? How it works? There's certain people out there, and I think, is it sensitivity? Is it being a psychic medium? I think kind of, for me, how I feel, it's like everyone has that ability, I think, but I think some people just have it stronger, and some people have it not even, enough to notice. But I think we all have it. But I think there's certain people that just stand out, and spirits are kind of drawn to them. Yeah. So,
no, I agree.
That's completely my story. I'm sticking to it.
I agree with that theory completely, actually. I want to hear everyone else's theories.
Yeah, anyone out there want to put their theory on any of that?
Does everyone agree with us?
Everyone can't agree with us. It's impossible.
Donna says, it's a cold spot, and if they touch me, that part of my body can get hot. Interesting.
She also agreed.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like all three of these movies, one being a complete comedy, of course, the other two being deeper, one kind of touching on spiritualism, as you said. I think they all kind of weirdly go with each other. Not just because of the paranormal like part of it, but again the you have the same idea with the intruders, because with Beetlejuice, like the others, it's Barbara and Adam, the character of those two ghosts. They want to get the Dietz family out of their house.
Yeah.
They want their house back. That's another question that I think about all the time, because I've had some very unpleasant experiences where I got the shit scared out of me. And I don't know if I say this to try to make myself feel better about those experiences, but sometimes I did hear another investigator on an investigation I went on say to me that their theory, and I liked her theory because it does make me feel better, is that they do that, you know, sometimes I think that they try to get a scare out of you and try to get a shock out of you to get that reaction. It's kind of like entertainment for them.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what
You know?
goes on the other side? Maybe that's like the highlight of the day. They're like, all right, here it is. Let's do it.
Yeah. Or they just want you to leave.
Yeah. That
I
guy.
saw it. Did I
was
send you
touched.
that TikTok? Oh, you were touched? Okay, that could be that guy joking.
It could go either way here.
Were you... Show me a medal where it touched you, that guy.
Another concept too that I just thought about that all three of these movies kind of blend together, which I didn't think about until right now, is see, a lot of times when we watch this stuff, it's always ghost spirits, and when we investigate, a lot of times I think we forget that they were actually people, and they still may be people. And I think this kind of plays all three of them on how to not forget they are people and they have a story, and sometimes they want their story told and they want to interact. It puts a kind of a human element to it, because like the others, it was how are they going to all habitate together or cohabitate?
Right.
The second one, how they wanted them out originally, but then they needed to learn, like, okay, well, maybe there's space for all of us.
Right.
And the same thing with the third one. It was kind of like, well, how does this little boy go through his life with this, you know, gift or whatnot, and all kind of with the paranormal all working together harmoniously and whatnot. So that's a kind of a cool
things end up working out. Yeah. No, I agree with you. Oh, did you have a chance to read that comment?
No, I didn't. I have met a few cheeky spirits that will do that. My own bloody brother, for starts. Oh, interesting. I've been touched by a spirit too. I know it sounds corny to say, but yeah, it's a weird experience. I never get used to it. It doesn't happen a lot. That's one of the rare things. It's like the poltergeist activity, like stuff moving. It doesn't happen a lot generally, but when it does, it creeps me out, because
it happens a lot for me.
You know, no one's there, and it's somebody. You know, it's somebody touching you. It's a strange feeling for me.
It's for me, it's like, depending on the touch, and again, it does sound weird talking about it.
No, it does. I'm looking for someone to make a joke.
I know. But depending on the touch, it's either you either get this feeling of, it's very intrusive and uncomfortable, or it's kind of like I'm in awe. So it's not always scary for me. It's just like, because it happens a lot. For me, I'd say probably like 3 or 4 times on an investigation, I feel something, but I don't say it. Yeah, it happens to me a lot. The coolest one that I got right before I got the scared out of me was at the Conjuring house, and I felt my hand being held, and there was no other way to describe it other than that I knew it was a hand. But it wasn't like a human hand. It's not like I could feel the little fingers. It was just like this little cup of energy that felt like it was cupped around my hand. At the time, I thought it was a child. Now I'm not quite sure. But it was kind of gripping. Like, it didn't want to let go of my hand. And at the time, I was just completely comfortable and at ease, and I was like, that's very sweet. Can you go give Chris, because I wanted Chris to experience it, can you go touch Chris's hand? And then I felt a sharp pain, like somebody was stabbing my thumb with a needle.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if that's you, please stop doing that. You're not allowed. And then I started getting a little freaked out, like, you're not allowed to touch me anymore, you know. And and I was wondering, am I inviting it too much? Like, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing to like invite spirit to touch you or to touch somebody else.
I mean, I guess it goes with your comfort level, but yeah. I don't even know, like, does that work? Can you just say, like, hey, it goes back to the rules, right? Like, hey, you can't do this. And they're on the other side going like, up, she said it.
Right.
She said
exactly.
it.
Well, I hear that all the time, like that you have to be in charge, that you're the more powerful one. It's like, are these all things we just say ourselves to make ourselves feel better about it?
Yeah, and that is another good topic that I mean, I don't know the answer. I think it goes back to a lot of what you believe personally and what you, I guess, the energy you put out and whatever your thoughts behind that is. You know what I mean? Like when people do a lot of like the protections before they do an investigation, like does that actually like go to the spirits like, oh, they did the protection thing, we can't do anything? Or is it just the energy that you in your mind has kind of put up that keeps them at bay if it works or whatnot?
Right.
You know?
No, there's something to do with energy. I do think it's important to be in a good mindset and to feel, because it's a situation that can make you feel a little out of control when things get a little crazy. If they do, and I think it's important to feel, at least feel the feeling of control, whether that does any good or not. It's about at least trying to put yourself in that mindset. So we're getting some comments here that you do need to set boundaries, and it does work. And I do that. Again, there's no ritual. There's nothing I say out loud. Sometimes I would say things out loud, but I do a lot of that in my own head. If I'm starting to feel uncomfortable or I'm starting to feel like it's too much, I just kind of say it in my head, and then I feel better. So I don't know if that's actually doing anything or not. And that guy used, oh, sorry.
No, and like a lot of people ask me, because as you know, as I do like a lot of the paranormal investigations, like what do you do, you know, for protection and whatnot? And I say, you know, whatever works personally for you, because I think everyone's different. Like people have different belief systems, all that kind of stuff. So like whatever you feel you need to do before, after, or during an investigation or whenever, you know, you do what you think works and what's comfortable for you. Like some people use crystals, some people, you know, do protection prayer, some people do, you know, saging after it, whatever, you know, works for you.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think there is like a right or a wrong.
Exactly.
If you feel better personally, then that means it's working.
Yeah, because I think it goes back to like you said, the individual, what you believe, what you know, the energy and what your limits and whatnot are. So
yeah, the mindset.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe we went through 3 movies.
And we almost got copyrighted.
And we got, well, we did. I don't know. I have to talk later to Melissa about what that all means. Because like I said, she's got a big channel. I wish I had her link right now because I would drop that for her. But if you're here, if you're still listening, Melissa, or if any of my mods want to drop Melissa's channel in here, please feel free to do so. She's got an amazing true crime channel, and she does a lot of conspiracy as well, over there. So, and paranormal. Sometimes she does paranormal too. So, we share a lot of people interested in the same things.
Awesome.
But this was really fun. I give you an A++. Nothing happens. There we go. She just said nothing happens. Hakuna Matata.
We survived our first show without Chris.
Hakuna Matata. You hear that, Chris? You hear that, Chris?
We did it.
We did it. So yeah, you get an A++ as co-host. You're so much nicer to me.
Well, it's still the first show, Boston. So let's take it slow.
Wait, can I fire Chris?
I don't think you could fire Chris. I mean, you could maybe try.
Heather's not a mod? What? I can't see who are mods here. And I don't know how to. Go yell at Chris, Heather. All I can do is put you in timeout or block you, and I don't want to do either of those. Boston in trouble.
It's my fault. I'm usually in the sidelines there helping out moderating, so
No, we've got a bunch of very good mods, and I thought they all just came over.
I can't even see the mods. So that's why I don't even.
I can't either. I don't know how to see them when we're up here.
It's new being in this side of the mods. It's pretty cool.
It is. It's weird. I go to Chris about that one, Heather, because I would love to have you as a mod, and I don't know. Can't figure out how to do it from here. But yeah, Kyle has been a huge supporter of this channel since Chris and I started. Of course, we had Chris's channel, The Horror Road Trip, and now that we have Haunted, we really appreciate everyone's support. Kyle from Get Haunted, of course, is also a very busy dude. Get Haunted has a ton of events going on right now all over the country. Please check them out if you haven't checked them out before. We have talked a lot about it, and I don't know where the link is.
It's in the private chat.
Okay. www.gethaunted.com.
There you go. Right here.
It's easier to just say
right
there. Yeah, right there. Just click my comment. Okay, Heather's going to try to walk me through how to make her a mod. Just click my comment. Then what? Do I star it? What did that do? No. I don't know. We'll figure it out later. But again, thank you so much, Kyle. You're going to be seeing more of him. I don't know what we're going to have in store for next week, but it's possible something pretty big. So please keep your eyes open, everybody. I don't want to give it away if it doesn't work out, but I did just hear from this person.
It's going to be awesome. So definitely stay tuned. And I want to thank Chris and Boston for having me on and entrusting their wonderful show with me.
Oh, I could not have done it without you tonight, and it was a blast. Thank you, Nasa. Thank you, Donna. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We want to ask random questions. That actually, I don't know if. Let's just say we might potentially have a really big interview that nobody wants to miss next week. And I don't know if it's the kind of behind the veil interview where we want to do our icebreaker questions.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll have to think about that.
Might be a little more serious. But yeah, stay tuned. Thank you, everybody. Hit that thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you, Kyle. Have a great night.
Thanks, everyone. See you later.
Bye.